First off, I want to apologize for not even noticing that 15 minutes was my limit on ScreenPal. So I do have two videos, I guess. This should be a little bit shorter than the other one, of course. But yeah, I do remember talking about that. You actually do just take this out and put this in to make it wireless. And it actually helps with, it would save a lot of cost instead of having everything hardwired and cabling. So it would save you costs there. And I think I mentioned earlier, of course, will just go over it again, that this is DHCP and the other of my end devices are static. So you can see their IP addresses on the outside, which is static. But if we were to go here to my router, you can see that you will see the internet IP address, which is 169.254.0.6, and my LAN IP address at 192.168.0.1. So, and I talked about static and dynamic, about which one I used and how some of my end devices already have static. I use this one because it automatically assigns an IP address. So now we're going to talk about actually communicating these devices. I was going to go from here, this server room PC, I was trying to talk to this PC in Material Science 2 by giving it a little ping. So first of all, we're going to go to this server room. But before we go to that server room, we're going to actually memorize this IP address right here, because I'm going to be pinging from here to there. So you can see the IP address we have right there is 169.254.216.172. So we're going to memorize that and we're going to ping it. And so we're going to go through here. We're going to go to our terminal. Oh, sorry. Okay. I clicked the wrong one. I'm going to go to our command prompt. So you can see earlier I was messing with it and I was actually getting successful pings. You can see the packet sent 4, received 4, packet sent 4, received 4. So I'm going to remember, so that address for the building on Material Science 2, the PC, was 169.254.216.172. And then that's going to work here. So you don't need to put the /24 because it remembers that. So you're getting a ping with that. It should be okay. So I did not accept that for some reason. Maybe because I was running it earlier and I was getting successful pings. But let's see, maybe we can try another device. So we can try, let's see, I think this one's DHCP. Okay, let's try this device here. So this is the Material Science 1, it's 192.168.0.2. So it was working literally before. I think I shut off my computer. Can't even see it. Okay. Maybe make this smaller. Sorry about that. Sorry about the technical issues. Okay. So here we're going to try pinging on Material Science 1. Let's see, 168.0.2. Let's see if that will give it a good old. Looks like it's not picking it up. I wonder why. Like, as you could see earlier, I was just doing just fine with these successful pings, and I think it's because I shut it down earlier. But so essentially, I was able to ping from here to there, and it was working just fine. But so now we are going to go see this command list, and we're going to show you our unique IP addressing that I assigned to these, as I mentioned earlier. So because it causes less chaos with the network, I think, when it's on DHCP. So we can hit, so this is our multi-switch. Oh, okay. Show. So you can see our VLAN 10 that we created. on that. And so everything on VLAN 1 is a no-go, obviously, is what I learned. And I would go in and make everything on a different VLAN, especially with these ports, as we learned through class. So I enabled trunking throughout my, let me go to configure. I enabled trunking through, so just right here, through all my ports, so they're able to communicate the way it should be. But yeah, so it's going to go all the way down to 24. So we are going to do, oh, all right. So we're going to do a show you what I did here earlier, how I actually made those IPs. So you can see, so I'm gonna, all right, show IP hint brief. All right, there they are. So VLAN 10 and VLAN 11 and 12, you can see the IP addresses they are assigned. So messing around with different VLANs and IP addresses will affect the communication. So beginning of computer, our DHCP server, it will communicate after configuring. So through the 2 Ethernet, so it can communicate from back and forth. So we have these 2 ports right here to go back and forth, obviously mentioned earlier. So we're going to go out of that. So we're going to go back to our router, and we're going to talk about the components that I showed earlier. It's going to pop up. Okay, it's loading. All right. So right now it's an automatic configuration DHCP. You can make it wireless, static, and if you were to make it wireless, you would have other options to scroll through. And you can see that you can have host name, domain name, our IP address, subnet mask, and our DHCP is enabled. Our start and maximum number of users, we have got 50, and our IP range. And so ISP VLANs are disabled because I wasn't really too sure how to actually handle what they did. And I think it's just through like a different frequency on sending out packets. All right, so now you're gonna see how, if you were to make it a wireless on, which you can see that our routers are gonna have actually communicate with each other throughout. So I'm just gonna go to our physical view because it's a little easier. All right, so you can see that our IP is 192.168.0.1, and it's actually going to communicate throughout these building B and C and D. So 192.168.0.1, and oh, sorry, and we got our 192.168.0.1. So configuring to go back and forth is the main thing. And so everything is listed on my asset inventory and write up on how I did it. So in my opinion, this is a great redundancy, like a redundant star topology for a campus design structure. I do remember Ben Lampy was mentioning to use redundant like star at the very beginning of the semester when we were barely learning about topologies like ring. He's like, yeah, redundant is going to be the one you probably want to work with on your project. That was about 14 weeks ago. So it's, in my opinion, it works. It's needed in this case. And if I had everything, so I have everything hardwired, but like one keynote is if it was wireless, it would definitely cost less and it would save a lot of money. So that's one keynote I would mention. I showed you how I think it cut off earlier, but I can just show you real fast again. If you were to have this taken out and put this in, it would make it wireless. That is my PLC, my final for networking, and so I did pretty confident in my project. I actually, the only thing that I didn't really get to show honestly was, so earlier I was able to pick up IP addresses, as you can see, 169.254.0.5. It actually was supposed to be this one up here in Material Science 2, and I got it to ping, but apparently I think after I closed my laptop it just didn't work. So I swear I got it to work, but I'm glad it's actually this saved. So anyways, I'm confident in my project, and I appreciate you guys for watching all 25 minutes of this, but I just wanted to make sure I had everything listed out. I did do all 4 buildings like I mentioned. You have my routers, building B, C, and D. In each building, you can see that they are listed just perfectly fine with the how the layout. You got Making Medical 4, Pressure Science Lab 2, Building D. Now this is Building C. It's all pretty much the same structure, but it's all following the redundant star topology like mentioned by Ben Lampe. So thank you again, and have a great holiday.